Welcome, brave souls, to another episode of U.S. Horror Stories. I'm Ben, and today we are delving into the Conjuring House. Before we dive into our spine-chilling U.S. horror stories, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. This way, you won't miss any of our terrifying tales. In the quiet town of Ravenscroft, where the rhythm of daily life followed a predictable beat, Emily Harper stood as a soloist in the orchestra of mundanity. The soft cadence of her footsteps echoed through the familiar streets, a gentle prelude to the harmony of routine. As the morning sun painted the sky in hues of peach and gold, Emily's world unfolded like a delicate overture. The gentle hum of a distant lawnmower and the rhythmic chirping of birds interwove seamlessly, creating a melodic backdrop to her unremarkable existence. Emily, a young woman with dreams as quiet as the town itself, moved through the day with the measured pace of a well-practiced symphony. From her cozy apartment to the local coffee shop, each note played in harmony, forming the melody of her life. Yet beneath the surface of the familiar subtle undertones hinted at a longing for something more. The occasional sighs and wistful glances toward the horizon were like melancholic notes, waiting for the right moment to be brought to life. And so, in the midst of this ordinary sonata, an unexpected crescendo approached. A peculiar letter, its arrival marked by a shift in the rhythm of Emily's heartbeat, disrupted the serene composition of her daily routine. The ink on the parchment seemed to hum with a mysterious resonance, introducing a dissonant chord into the otherwise harmonious symphony of her life. As she read the words that beckoned her to the enigmatic Conjuring House, a haunting undertone accompanied her contemplation. The invitation, like an unexpected key change, promised a departure from the familiar musicality of Ravenscroft. The first chapter, an overture to the narrative, set the stage for Emily's journey. The initial rhythm, steady and unremarkable, began to shift, foreshadowing a tale where the notes of the ordinary would soon be replaced by the haunting melody of the unknown. The symphony of Emily's life took an unexpected turn as the mysterious invitation danced in her thoughts, introducing a new tempo to her existence. Each step towards the Conjuring House was like a staccato beat, punctuating the otherwise fluid rhythm of her routine. The minor chords of uncertainty resonated as she approached the ominous structure, its looming silhouette disrupting the once familiar melodies of Ravenscroft. The door, opening with a deliberate creak, marked the beginning of a new movement in Emily's personal composition. Inside, the ambience shifted abruptly. The house seemed to hum with an otherworldly energy, a haunting melody that intertwined with the heartbeat of curiosity and unease. Shadows draped the walls like ghostly notes, creating a mysterious counterpoint to the daylight symphony she had grown accustomed to. As Emily explored the echoing corridors, each footfall echoed like a syncopated rhythm, creating a sense of anticipation. The walls whispered secrets, and the air carried a subtle dissonance that heightened the suspense, turning the act of exploration into a crescendo of tension. Encountering the inhabitants of the Conjuring House added layers to the composition. The characters' introductions became a melodic ensemble, their interactions forming a delicate harmony. Friendships and alliances were hinted at, the relationships composing a dynamic arrangement within the haunted halls. The chapter unfolded like a musical journey, the rhythm transitioning from the hesitant beats of the unknown to a more complex composition of character dynamics and supernatural intrigue. The melody of Emily's life, once predictable, now danced on the edge of unpredictability, and the second movement closed with the promise of an unfolding symphony of the supernatural. In the heart of the Conjuring House, Emily's footsteps echoed like a haunting refrain, the sound reverberating through the ancient corridors. The air inside carried a palpable tension, and the atmosphere itself seemed to compose a spectral overture. As Emily delved deeper into the labyrinthine passages, the rhythm of her exploration quickened. Each door she opened added a new note to the unsettling melody of the house. Shadows played on the walls, orchestrating a spectral dance that mirrored the mysterious energy that permeated every inch of the space. The creaks of floorboards beneath her feet were like ghostly whispers, hinting at the secrets that lay hidden within the very foundation of the Conjuring house. The walls seemed to pulse with an otherworldly resonance, creating an auditory tapestry that spoke of ages long past. Encounters with inexplicable phenomena became the stanzas of this eerie composition. A cold breeze, a flickering candle, and a distant murmur added verses to the supernatural melody. The pace quickened, the tempo rising with each unsettling revelation. As Emily ventured further into the heart of the house, the dissonant notes of the paranormal encounters blended with the rhythmic heartbeat of fear. The suspenseful crescendo reached its peak as she found herself face to face with a spectral presence, the encounter unfolding like a dramatic symphony of the supernatural. The third chapter, a crescendo of spectral encounters and mysterious revelations, left Emily and the readers on the edge of their seats, the haunting rhythm of the Conjuring house's secrets echoing in their minds. The symphony of the unknown continued, and the narrative danced between the harmony and discord of the supernatural. Within the walls of the Conjuring house, a delicate cadence unfolded as Emily found herself amidst the enigmatic inhabitants. Each encounter was a note in the evolving melody, and the interactions between characters began to shape a complex harmony. The rhythm of the chapter wove through the tapestry of relationships, revealing alliances and tensions that added depth to the narrative composition. Conversations echoed like distant chimes, each word resonating with its own unique timbre, creating a symphony of personalities within the haunted abode. As Emily navigated the social dynamics, the tempo of the story shifted. Some characters became like comforting refrains, while others introduced dissonant chords of uncertainty. The rhythm mirrored the ebb and flow of camaraderie and suspicion, building towards a climactic crescendo. Amid flickering candlelight and spectral whispers, alliances formed and betrayals lurked in the shadows. The chapter's rhythm became a dance of trust and deceit, each step echoing through the haunted halls of the Conjuring house. The house itself seemed to respond to the emotional cadence of the characters, its ancient walls absorbing the echoes of friendships forged and alliances shattered. The chapters of the Conjuring house unfolded not only as a supernatural mystery, but as a symphony of human emotions, adding layers to the haunting composition. As the fourth chapter came to a close, the rhythm of alliances and betrayals lingered in the air, setting the stage for the next movement in the haunting symphony that played within the spectral walls of the Conjuring house. In the dimly lit chambers of the Conjuring house, the narrative rhythm quickened, creating a crescendo of supernatural phenomena. Emily's senses were attuned to the eerie melody that surrounded her, each encounter with the paranormal adding a new layer to the haunting composition. The pacing of the chapter reflected the escalating tension as spectral entities revealed themselves with increasing frequency. Each encounter became a discordant note, resonating with the fear and awe that accompanied these otherworldly manifestations. Footsteps echoed like a spectral drumbeat as Emily moved through the haunted corridors, her breath catching with each flicker of candlelight and mysterious whisper. The air itself seemed to vibrate with a dissonant energy, heightening the suspense and creating an unsettling harmony. As the paranormal occurrences intensified, the rhythm of the chapter built towards a chilling climax. Shadows danced like ghostly apparitions, and the walls seemed to reverberate with the echoes of a bygone era, contributing to the supernatural symphony that enveloped the Conjuring house. The chapter unfolded as a haunting sonata, with each encounter contributing to the overall composition of fear and anticipation. The pacing mirrored the heartbeat of the story, quickening as the paranormal elements took center stage, leaving both Emily and the readers on the edge of their seats, captivated by the chilling rhythm of the Conjuring house. As Emily delved deeper into the mysteries of the Conjuring house, the rhythm of the narrative became a haunting melody, echoing through the ancient halls. Every step she took resonated like a heartbeat, quickening with each encounter of the paranormal. The atmosphere within the house became a symphony of the supernatural, with each room playing its own eerie tune. The rhythm intensified as Emily faced spectral entities, their presence creating dissonant chords that reverberated through the air. Amidst the ghostly encounters, the relationships between characters took center stage, adding a layer of emotional resonance to the unfolding composition. Friendships solidified like harmonious notes, while betrayals struck dissonant chords, creating a dynamic interplay of trust and deceit. The pacing of the chapter danced between moments of quiet suspense and intense supernatural crescendos. Shadows moved like phantom dancers, and the flickering candlelight cast a spectral glow, enhancing the eerie ambience. The rhythm mirrored the heartbeat of fear and curiosity that pulsed through Emily and the haunted corridors. In this chapter, the Conjuring house itself seemed to conduct the narrative, responding to the characters' emotions and actions with its own spectral energy. The haunting melody of the unknown reached its zenith, leaving Emily poised on the precipice of a deeper revelation, and the readers captivated by the disquieting rhythm that permeated the air. In the midst of the Conjuring house's spectral symphony, the 7th chapter unfolded with a dynamic rhythm, weaving a tapestry of alliances and betrayals. Each character's motives became distinct notes in the haunting composition, adding layers to the unfolding mystery. The chapter began with a subtle overture, hinting at the complexities that lay beneath the surface. The rhythm echoed the characters' hesitations and secret motives, creating a suspenseful melody that played out in the shadows of the ancient dwelling. As friendships deepened and suspicions heightened, the narrative rhythm quickened, building towards a dramatic crescendo. Conversations became a duet of trust and deceit, and the characters' interactions resonated with the emotional intensity of a haunted opera. The spectral ambience of the Conjuring house responded to the characters' emotional crescendo. The walls seemed to absorb the tension, creating an auditory backdrop that heightened the dramatic atmosphere. The rhythm of the chapter echoed the ebb and flow of alliances, creating a symphony of intrigue that enveloped the characters in an intricate dance. As the 7th chapter reached its climax, the rhythm hinted at the impending discord that would shape the narrative's next movement. The haunted corridors whispered of impending revelations, leaving both Emily and the readers caught in the captivating rhythm of the Conjuring house's enigmatic tale. Chapter 8 of The Conjuring House began as a mournful elegy, delving into the dark history that clung to the walls like a lingering echo. The rhythm slowed, creating a deliberate pace that mirrored the weight of the revelations awaiting Emily in the shadows. As the narrative unfolded, the story shifted between past and present, the rhythm oscillating between timelines like a melancholic waltz. The ancient secrets of the Conjuring house were unveiled in fragments, each revelation adding a haunting note to the overall composition. The walls seemed to sigh with the weight of forgotten memories, and the air carried the residue of bygone tragedies. The rhythm of the chapter became a somber refrain, punctuated by the distant echoes of a time long ago. As Emily uncovered the dark truths concealed within the house, the rhythm built towards a crescendo of understanding. The dissonant chords of the past mingled with the present, creating a complex harmonic structure that resonated with the emotional depth of the narrative. The revelations, like haunting melodies, painted a vivid picture of the malevolent forces that had shaped the Conjuring house. The pacing of the chapter reflected the gravity of the revelations, immersing both Emily and the readers in a symphony of historical horror that added a new layer to the unfolding tale. As the 8th chapter drew to a close, the rhythm lingered in the air, heavy with the weight of the past. The haunting melodies of history now intertwined with the present, setting the stage for the impending confrontation with the malevolent forces that lurked within the spectral corridors. Chapter 9 of The Conjuring House unfurled with an anticipatory rhythm, the air thick with a palpable sense of impending confrontation. The beats echoed through the corridors, each step Emily took resonating with a blend of determination and trepidation. As the protagonist delved into the heart of the supernatural, the rhythm intensified, mirroring the rising tempo of the eerie encounters that awaited her. Shadows seemed to dance to an unseen orchestration, creating a spectral ballet that accompanied her every move. The spectral crescendo reached its zenith as Emily faced the malevolent entity that had lurked in the shadows. The rhythm became a pulse of fear and courage, a relentless beat underscoring the climactic confrontation. The symphony of the supernatural erupted, each note a manifestation of the struggle between the living and the spectral. The walls seemed to absorb the echoes of the supernatural battle, resonating with the energy of the confrontation. The rhythm of the chapter became a symphony of conflict, the clash of forces creating a cacophony that reverberated through the haunted corridors. As the confrontation reached its peak, the rhythm shifted once more, transitioning into a resolution. The haunting melodies of the supernatural battle gradually subsided, replaced by a melancholic refrain. The aftermath of the encounter lingered in the air, leaving an indelible imprint on both the Conjuring house and Emily. As the 9th chapter concluded, the rhythm hinted at the aftermath of the supernatural struggle, setting the stage for the final movements of the haunting symphony that had unfolded within the spectral walls. Chapter 10 of The Conjuring House opened with a solemn adagio, the aftermath of the supernatural confrontation echoing through the haunted corridors. The rhythm of the narrative became reflective as Emily navigated the aftermath of the climactic battle. The pacing of the chapter mirrored the slow unraveling of the mysteries that had haunted the Conjuring house. Each revelation was a poignant note in the haunting melody, resolving lingering questions and providing closure to the spectral symphony that had played out within its walls. The atmosphere within the house shifted, becoming a mournful dirge for the entities that had once roamed its halls. Emily's footsteps, once hurried, now moved with a measured pace, each step contributing to the melancholic rhythm of the chapter. As loose ends were tied and unanswered questions found resolution, the rhythm built towards a harmonious conclusion. The narrative wove a tapestry of closure, allowing the emotional cadence of the story to settle into a final satisfying refrain. The chapter concluded with a lingering coda, the rhythm fading like a distant echo. The Conjuring house, once a symphony of the supernatural, now stood in silence, its spectral secrets laid bare. The haunting melody of the unknown reached its resolution, leaving both Emily and the readers with a sense of closure and the echoes of an unforgettable tale. Chapter 10 marked the final movements of the spectral symphony, concluding the narrative with a poignant rhythm that resonated with the emotional depth of the Conjuring house's enigmatic story.